Hello everyone, today will be a shorter video. I don't have a lot of information on this person at all. I feel like I say that in most videos, but this one there was really very little. And when I get into it, I feel like you're going to start forming an opinion pretty quick. And let me tell you, I probably have the same one. Uh, it's kind of crazy why this person hasn't been looked into to more, or maybe they have and they haven't said that. It's just crazy to me. Like, it's so obvious to me that they should have at least, they had to have their hands on something. I don't know. But today we're talking about Maria Nina Miller, who vanished after leaving to see a sick in-law. All the links that I use for research will be down below, like always. I will also have numbers down below that you can call if you have tips, if you happen to know anything about this case. And let's just go ahead and get into it. Like I said, I do apologize for the lack of information, but I also apologize because I found only one photo of this woman, of Maria. There was a couple of others, but I couldn't find out if it was actually her and her husband or not, because I could not find a photo of him to save my life. So it's probably going to be like the same couple photos the entire video, and I'm really sorry. I could find nothing. And I mean nothing, so I'm very sorry, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, Maria Nina Miller has been missing since February 4th, 2011, from Towanda, Pennsylvania. Maria was last seen at her place of employment, which was the Dandy Mini Mart, on February 4th, 2011. She took 2 days off work, telling her coworkers that she and her husband, Kenneth, were going to go to Kenneth's sick mother in Charleston. She did plan on returning to work on the night of February 7th, 2011, and to work an overnight shift, but she never showed up and was never heard from again. So, a little bit about Maria. She was born in the Philippines and moved to the U.S. with Kenneth, who was in the U.S. Army. They lived in Norfolk, Virginia between 2005 and 2010, and then moved to Towanda, where he worked as a recruiter and she worked at Dandy. Every night while she was working there at Dandy Mini Mart, she would call her son, but the call stopped after February 4th. And I just want to say that I could find nothing about her son. I couldn't find out if he's been interviewed, if he said anything about his mother's disappearance. I could find there's like they give us the facts or whatever about the case, and then that's it. There's nothing else. There's no interviews. According to Kenneth, while they were in the parking lot of Charleston Area Medical Center, he and Maria argued, and she demanded he take her to Virginia Beach, which he did. He dropped her off at an unknown apartment complex and never saw or heard from her again. She was not reported missing until June 2011, 4 months later, and the report was filed not by Kenneth, her husband, but by the U.S. Army. So you get what I'm saying? That there's kind of something forming right now. Kenneth, you are just suspicious. First of all, what were they arguing about? I know that having a sick family member can really get to people, and it can cause arguing and fighting because you're so stressed about that. Maybe she didn't have a good relationship with her mother-in-law. We don't know. And I want to know why she said, just drop me off here. Like, why Virginia Beach? Because they don't say why she wanted to go Virginia Beach. Did she just choose it randomly? How do you not know the apartment complex? Do you not remember the name? If you're dropping your wife off somewhere after you just had an argument, I don't know about you guys, but I would memorize where I drop people off at, just in case it was important later. How do you just not know? How do you not know? I couldn't find any descriptions about the apartment either. I don't know if he gave any or they just didn't release the information. I could find nothing. So yeah, how is it unknown? Does he mean unknown as in they didn't know anybody there? If so, why would you just drop her off at a random apartment complex if you don't know anybody there? You know what I'm saying? And if you do know somebody there, you know the apartment complex. Why? That is a really random location to drop somebody off at. And he never bothered to get back in contact with her. He never saw her from her again. So did you not try to go back and find her? Do you really just care that little about your wife? It's just wild to me. And then the other thing, she wasn't reported missing for 4 months. For 4 months. Why was she not reported for 4 months? Your wife is missing, you dropped her off somewhere, and she's just gone. Even if y'all had a really bad argument and let's say she threatened to never come back again, you would still worry, right? If you're not hearing from her, if nobody is hearing from her. If she's married to you, obviously you might have contact with her son. So, come on, why I don't understand why it takes 4 months to do it, and not even by her own husband. Her husband didn't, it's like he didn't care enough to report her missing. The U.S. Army had to do it. The U.S. Army reported a man's wife missing because the husband wouldn't do it. It's so many red flags. It pissed me off when I was reading this. It pissed me off. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and I'm gonna try to finish the video. In February of 2023, Pennsylvania State Police asked for the public's help when they held a press conference for Maria. FBI, Pittsburgh, PSP, and the West Virginia State Police announced that they are offering a $7,000 reward for anyone with info on her disappearance. And this is from Trooper Miranda Musick, I believe, and it's a direct quote. "We have reason to believe there are people with important info relevant to the case, and we ask them to reach out. We do not believe that Maria left on her own, and there is someone who knows what happened." End quote. And I think I made it pretty clear that I think I know who was involved and who has information. So this is now a quote from her husband, Kenneth. Lovely Kenneth. He says, quote, "I did nothing wrong. I had nothing to do with her disappearance. I understand that the police have to look at me as a suspect, but I have nothing to hide. I don't know where she is." End quote. Kenneth says that among other things, in the early days of the investigation, his vehicle was searched and his cell phone records were seized. He also says he is her ex-husband after going to court to dissolve the marriage. And the troopers said they would not comment on whether or not he is indeed a suspect in the case. So they have not made it official on whether or not he is in fact a suspect. But they would be so fucking stupid if he is not being considered a suspect. Even to this day, if they have no other information, the information they do have is that her husband was that we know of, the last person to see her, dropped her off at an unknown location, never heard from her again, as far as we know, didn't try to contact her again, did not report her missing. His employer, the military, reported her missing. I don't know how that doesn't scream suspicious. I don't know how. And the thing is, he says that they have to look at him, they have to investigate him, and they wouldn't comment, which tells me that he probably likely is, or I don't know, maybe he's subconsciously thinking that they are, maybe because he did something wrong. Maybe he didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I'm just freaking out about this guy because he seems like the likely suspect, and maybe he did nothing wrong. But every red flag is popping up around Kenneth. There is just something off about him. And it's the fact, I understand that you probably accepted that she's not coming back, so you dissolved the marriage. It's just weird to me when people do that. It doesn't say how long after he did that. It wasn't, I don't know if it was like in the year after, a couple years, many years after. I just know that he dissolved the marriage. Something about that rubs me the wrong way. Like, he made it a point to say that. I don't know. I do like that his vehicle was searched, records were seized. I don't know how much they would glean from that for their investigation. My fear is that this might not be solved. If they can't find anything on Kenneth, they might not be able to find anything on anybody. Like they did that press conference this year, last month. They did a press conference they just don't have anything, and it's just, I can't believe it. But that is all the information I have on Maria. If you have tips, call Miranda Musick at 570-265-2186. I will have that on the screen, and that will also be in the description with the links at the bottom. So what do you guys think happened? I just want to say really quickly that I also, when I was going back to see if I had comments on my other videos, my Caitlin Potts video comments were on, but the one for Junior Phillips and my other videos after, they were turned off. I don't know why. I didn't do that. So I will try to make sure that my comments are turned on this time. I'm very sorry about that. But what do you guys think? I hope I didn't. I'm not trying to sway you. I just wanted to point out what I found in my research. And to me, it feels like Kenneth has something and he's hiding something. I don't know why you wouldn't report your wife missing. Like he wasn't worried about her. Maybe because he knew what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to sway you. I want you to do your own research. That's just my opinion on it. But like I said, thank you for listening to Maria's story. I hope that her family, her son, can get some justice. And bring her home some way or another. And whoever did something to her, I hope they get found out very quickly. Hopefully that will make this case will make a breakthrough this year. Maybe that press conference stirred up something. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you guys again for listening to Maria's story, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.